Good morning everyone. So today we'll be discussing about what are the objectives of seasoning of timber. So in the previous slide we have been discussed about what are the two types of structures of the tree, that is macrostructures and microstructures, and what are the characteristics of the good timber. Okay, so we'll give a quick review on what I have taught in the previous slides. So as I have already told about the structure of the tree, it has been classified in two categories. First is macrostructure and the microstructure. Macrostructure means the structure of the wood which is visible to our naked eye or at a small magnifications is called as macrostructure. And macrostructures have been classified the following, that is pith, hardwood, sapwood, cambium layer, and inner bark, outer bark, medullary race. Okay, I have already discussed with you. Next is microstructures. As I have already told, the structure of the wood apparent only at the great magnification is called microstructures, and it has been classified in three categories, that is conductive cells, mechanical cells, and storage cells. Okay. Next is that I have discussed, that is characteristics of good timber. I have already discussed bit about the appearance. A freshly cut surface of the timber should have shining appearance. Next is color, it should be of dark color. Durability, the timber should be durable and capable of resisting the action of fungi, insects, chemical and physical agencies. Next is hardness, a good timber should be hard. Next is smell, a good timber should have sweet smell. Unpleasant timber indicated the decayed timber. That is sound, a good timber should give a clear sound when it struck with each other. Next is strength, a good timber should be sufficiently strong for working as a structural member such as beam, formwork, rafters, etc. And the structure of the timber should be of uniform and of a proper shape and size. The timber of the heavyweight is considered to be sound and strong. Last is working condition. The timber should be easily workable. Okay. So then we have been discussed about what do you mean by seasoning of the timber. Okay. So I have already discussed seasoning of a timber is a process by which the moisture content in the timber is reduced to the required level. By reducing the moisture content, the strength, elasticity and the durability properties have been developed. Okay. So from where the moisture content have been derived, or when the tree is newly cut or it is newly felled, it contains about 50% or more of its own dry weight, as we can say that is water. Okay. So the water is in the form of a sap and moisture. So we can say that I have already told by which the moisture content in the timber is reduced to required level. So the water is in the form of a sap and moisture, and the water is to be removed before the timber have been used for the engineering purposes, and the timber is to be dried. This process of drying of timber is known as, we can say that is also seasoning of a timber. So we can say that the seasoning of a timber is the process from where the moisture content have been reduced. By reducing the moisture content, the strength, elasticity and durable properties have been developed, and the process of drying of the timber is known as seasoning of a timber. Okay, after the timber or the wood, after the timber has been cut and it has been dried for some various time, after that the timber is to be dried. The process of drying of timber is known as seasoning of the timber. So next we will be discussing about what are the objectives of the seasoning of a timber. So seasoning makes the timber lighter. It becomes the easier to paint and polish the seasoned timber. The seasoned timber becomes stronger and more stable. The seasoning stops shrinkage of timber on drying. The seasoned timber has better electrical resistance. Okay. So these are the objectives of the seasoning. The seasoning makes the timber lighter, and it becomes easier to paint and polish, and it becomes stronger and more stable, and it stops the shrinkage of timber on drying, and this timber has better electrical resistance. Okay. So next we will be reading about, that is clay products. As I have already been discussed what do you mean by clay in the chapter 2, that is bricks. I have already been discussed what do you mean by clay, and the products which are prepared from the clay is known as clay products. Okay. So we can say that the clay products means the products which are prepared from the clay is known as clay products. The clay, when made with water, it possesses the plastic in nature, and this plastic clay can be molded in any shape, and it is dried and burnt. Already I have told in the chapter 2, that is, the clay when made with or when it is mixed with the water, it possesses some amount of plasticity, and this plastic clay, it can be molded in any shape and size, and it can, after that it has been dried and burnt. The clay is widely used material in the construction industries, and it is a recyclable and sustainable product. It is fire resistant, and the color ranges from light brown to burnt red. So we can say that it is a recyclable product and sustainable product also, and it is fire resistant, and the color of the clay product ranges from light brown to the burnt red color. Okay, so next, that is the clay products. What are the clay products? The clay products which are employed in the construction of buildings are clay brick, tiles, terracotta, porcelain, glazing, earthenware, stoneware, etc. Okay, so these are the clay products which are used in our construction of buildings. So we can say that the clay products means the products which are prepared from the clay is known as clay products, and when this clay is mixed with the water, it possesses some plastic, and this plastic clay can be molded in any shape and dried and burnt, and it is a widely used material in the construction industries, and it is a recyclable and sustainable product, and it is a fire resistant, and the color ranges of the clay products from light brown to burnt red color. And the clay products which are employed in the construction of building, that are clay brick, tiles, terracotta, porcelain, glazing, earthenware, these are the types of, or these are the products of the clay products. Okay, so we'll be reading one by one of this. So first is, that is clay brick. Clay brick, I have already discussed about the what are the types of bricks in the chapter 2, that is bricks. Already discussed about that. What is the clay bricks? What are the types of bricks? Already I have discussed. So clay bricks means the clay is the most important raw material which is used for making the bricks, and this type of clay is known as brick clay. Okay, and it is one of the oldest building material. Brick continues to be a most popular and leading construction. Okay, so this is the most important raw material. We have been used what are the important raw materials we are using in our preparation or manufacturing of the bricks. The clay is one of the most important raw material, and it is used for making the bricks, and this type of clay is known as, we can say, that is brick clay or clay brick. So it is one of the oldest building material which are been continued or have been continuing in our building purposes, and this material is being cheap, durable, and easy to handle. Okay, this material is the clay brick is very cheap, durable, and easy to handle. The clay bricks are used for building of exterior and interior walls, partitions, footings, and load-bearing structures. Okay, these clay bricks have also used for the building of exterior, interior walls, partitions, footing, foundations, and the load-bearing structures. And the clay bricks are commonly used since they are economical and easily available. Because they are easily available, so these clay bricks have been using in our construction purposes, or it has been using in our daily to daily life. Okay, so the standard size of the brick, I have already told, the standard size of the brick is, that is 19 into 9 into 9 centimeter. Okay, so these are the clay bricks. So next we'll be reading about, that is tile. It may be defined as the thin slab of brick which are burnt in kiln, and the manufacturing process of the tile is similar to the brick. First is preparations of the clay, molding, drying, and burning. This gives a very pleasing appearance and good service properties. And the examples of the tiles are roof tiles, floor tiles, wall tiles, partition tiles, etc. And tiles have been classified in two categories. First is common tile and encaustic tile. Okay, so these are the classifications of the tile. So you can see the diagram of the tiles here, that is roof tile and the floor tile. So the tile, classifications of the tile will be discussing in the next slide. Thank you.